Welcome to the Navigating the Noise podcast. First-hand stories and winning ideas from marketing department leaders. And now, here's your host, Jerry Allocca.
Hi there, and welcome to another episode of Navigating the Noise, brought to you by Connected Culture, a digital marketing agency obsessed with conversions. I'm your host, Jerry Allocca, and this is the only podcast to put the spotlight on the unsung heroes of the marketing department as we navigate the noise of modern marketing. Joining me today is Theresa Mautone Kuiken, the Chief Marketing and Business Development Officer at the National Society of Leadership and Success. Kuiken is spearheading a strategic transformation of the marketing team to a data-led, member-first positioning. Focusing on propelling revenue growth, brand exposure, and market expansion, Kuiken seamlessly marries the creative with the analytical to drive results. Theresa, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much for having me, Jerry. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
So tell us about the National Society of Leadership and Success.
Sure, I'm delighted to. We provide leadership programming at over 725 colleges nationwide. We have over 1.4 million members who are selected by their colleges, and if they accept that invitation, they go through our accredited Foundations of Leadership program. In that program, it takes about 10 hours through a semester, and they build leadership skills needed to be successful and to get those skills that employers are seeking. We kind of bridge the gap between what you learn in the classroom and the leadership skills you actually need to be successful in life. About half our members are traditional students and half are non-traditional. So non-traditional is really defined as those who've gone back to college later who might be already still working and having families themselves as well, and perhaps in a different age group as well. So we have about a 50-50 split there. And our programs really help all of our members to get really a leg up on the competition out there and to make sure that these skills that we teach them can continue to help them in their career and their life as they move on.
So in your marketing, who are you competing with for attention?
Our competition is other honor societies, but we are very different because we have a program that once you accept your invitation, you go through the program and then you become an inducted member. So there's actually a little bit of work involved. So it's not an honor society that acknowledges your past successes and says, here's a document. It's a living, breathing, community-led organization. So our competition is really other programming and other, not really leadership programming necessarily, but just other time, other opportunities that students have during their semester. Once they get their schedule, everything's pretty much locked in. So to make room and to show them that what we have is really, really helpful and a great complement to what they're studying is our challenge more than our competition, but that's really what we focus on.
So college students, they're just bombarded with so many marketing messages from so many different organizations. How do you navigate the noise and stand out?
It's a great question. And part of our challenge is to get a lot of people to know who we are before they accept the invitation. So we want to do a lot of top of funnel work there and make sure that people really understand who we are. So we do a lot of activations on campuses and make our presence known in that world. But once we get those members in, then we have many, many benefits that can help them save a lot of money and shopping and things like that. So we really make a whole package for them and make it a community-based organization so that they can keep coming to us for new information and we want to make sure that it's a living, breathing organization and not just kind of a one-off for them.
So what do you see as a threat to your marketing efforts over the next few years?
Threats again are time and more. As everybody goes more digital and they're bombarded with their inbox and they're checking their social media all the time. How do you cut through that noise? So the threats are really just breaking through all of that and making sure that we can stay relevant and make sure that we instill in them a real great sense of community that makes them come back to us over and over again.
So let's talk about success and success metrics. How do you define success in your marketing efforts and in your marketing team?
Yeah, we certainly have very, very clear deliverables and KPIs, and we have these scorecards that each team member has and the business has as well that we're making sure we're tracking towards. But success for me as a marketing leader also is in making sure that I am supporting and growing my individual team members every single day. Because if they're, I really feel that my job is to empower them to be the very best that they can be, that they can go and get a job anywhere else. And my job is to want them to stay with us. So I want to make sure that I'm empowering them and making sure that they have every skill that they need to do the best work that they can. And then the business succeeds off of that.
So retaining students and members, it's something I think a lot of organizations struggle with. How do you minimize attrition?
Yeah, it's interesting because when people join the society, again, they're invited to do so, so it's not open to everybody, and they become lifelong members. So they are in part of the community forever. They don't have to keep paying a fee and anything like that. So it's very, very much a community that we want to keep them engaged in. Once they finish the program, how do you keep them engaged, right? Because they finished that, they get their document, they're an inducted member, and now what? So that's our growth opportunity for the business, right? We have a lot of expansion opportunities to make a community and alumni network, all sorts of opportunities to make sure that we're bringing people back into the fold so that people can learn from each other. I think, once people realize some of the most meaningful things that you can do is to give back to other people and share what you've learned. So we can have an alumni network and talking to current members who are still going through the process and sharing what they're up to. So we have some really great videos. We have a new great video and media person that just joined us, and making sure that we're reaching all of our members when, where, and how they want to be reached, right? That's really what it's all about, so that we're tying everything together and making sure that everybody is really feeling like they're part of that community.
I love how you're connecting new students and new members with existing ones who've been there for many years. I think that those kind of conversations I think are very influential, very persuasive.
I agree. And it really is, it's about who we are. We want to make the greatest difference to the greatest number of people. Our BHAG, our big, hairy, audacious goal is really, we want everybody to know somebody who's positively affected by the NSLS. So that's really our mission. And we're very, very careful to make sure that everybody comes into the organization that are really, really mission driven. My experience, I ran $1 billion travel business, in the marketing and product side right before this. So it was very, very different. But I really wanted to give back and marry my personal and professional goals together. And so the NSLS was a great place for me. And we really make sure that everybody on the team is mission-based, because that authenticity is really what comes through. And it comes through in the messaging. And conversely, if you're inauthentic, it can be spotted a mile away.
One thing many of our listeners can relate to is joining a new organization, joining a new marketing department. When you first joined the society, what were some of your goals in the first 90 days?
What I like to do when I start anything, personally or professionally, is really go on a listening tour. I want to hear everything that's going on. It was a little bit COVID challenged because usually that tour involves some travel and going out to meet people, and I would have done that on college campuses here and so forth.
Yeah.
But Zoom works really well, and we've all gotten quite used to that. So, but it's still a listening tour, and I want to hear what's working. I want to hear especially what's not working and why. Where are your pain points? How can we help you address them? What can we do to make your life as easy as it could possibly be? And I do that, internally with the staff and also externally with our partners as well. Our partners, which are our universities, but also our partners that we work with in partnerships, where we have partnerships with a lot of different companies where we offer discounts to our students and so forth. So we, again, part of that community. But in the very beginning, you just want to go and listen and hear what's going on, and making sure that the company goals are clearly identified, and sharing those goals with the marketing team and say, how are we going to effectively address those company-wide goals as a marketing team, and making sure that the people are marching towards the same finish line, right? So what's working well, what needs improvement, what are the strengths and weaknesses of each team member, so that I can fill the gaps, and maybe the weaknesses in those team members, I can help them address them so that they can, again, go along their career path and journey. But identifying all that at the very beginning is really what lays the foundation for future success.
I love the listening tour. I wrote it down and put a big circle around it because I think it's something that not only somebody coming into a new marketing department would really benefit from, but let's say you've been there 5 years, 10 years. You've had goals, you put new goals in place of the old goals, things change. I think it's a great idea to kind of take that temperature, go on that listening and learning tour again, 5, 10 years later. And, there might be new faces, there might be new initiatives, there might be new, things that you're not aware of. I just love that idea. So thank you for that.
Well, thank you. And I love what you just said too, because I was at Omega Watches for 11 years, heading the North American marketing there. And after you're there for a while, that's exactly right. And I recognize that in myself. So I would always challenge myself and my team to keep our consumer hats on. We would go to the stores and just be a shopper and keep your consumer hat on and, just put yourself in a position of somebody who doesn't know anything about your company, your brand or anything. And what are they experiencing? And are we talking to them, as I said before, when, where, and how they want to be spoken to? And if not, how do we pivot? And so you say, it's very much 5-10 years, but marketing, you can put your strategic goals of the company, but the tactics against it are going to shift and they're going to pivot over time, because you can make the best plan in the world. And if things aren't working, you've got to be able to pivot really quickly. So it's a combination of all of that. At the NSLS, we have people who've been there a really, really long time. And then we've built this entire marketing team from just a couple of people to over a dozen during COVID. So we've had the great opportunity to have been able to grow during a very challenging time. But everybody's new and everybody came in during COVID. So what does that look like when you've never met anybody in person? We're doing that next month for the very first time. Some of these people have been here over a year.
Wow.
So I'm really, really excited about that. But again, to make sure that everybody's really connected and learning from each other, those who have the institutional knowledge of having been there forever. And people are coming in with new ideas from different industries that they might be able to layer into the mix, and then keeping that collaborative spirit going is what it's all about.
Let's talk about your journey to become a marketing leader. While you've had a lot of successes, I'm sure it wasn't all smooth sailing. What lessons did you learn in your career that you wish you learned sooner?
I love this. I was raised in a very Catholic family, where Italian too. So respect your elders, respect authority, listen to them, all that good stuff, right? So I come right out of college. My very first job was in publishing at Elle magazine. And I was a sponge and I was taking it all in. And whenever someone had an idea or wanted to do something, it took me a while to find my voice to make a suggestion on an improvement, because I thought, I'm respecting authority. They've been here for a long time. I'll do it the way they want to do it. And to a degree, that's okay. But to find your voice in that mix and to say, I'm here for a reason. I was educated to do this. And I needed to find your footing, your confidence, your voice, and to speak out. And that's hugely important. It took me a little while to take the family influence out of that, even though it's a great family influence and I still, support that in general. Sometimes in work, you have to step up a little bit. And something else is, leadership is about helping others do their best work. So even if you're not in a leadership position, there are a couple jobs, and we've all had them, where you kind of learned what not to do and how not to treat people, in certain positions that I've had. So, really understanding that leadership is about helping others, and you add more value to others, the farther you go along. So hiring an all-star team and not a team of all-stars, making sure that everybody is really fitting into that wheel that you're building, and everybody has a great role to play. That's when they bring out the best of each other, not just bringing in one superstar that's going to walk all over everybody else. So sometimes I've had that and they did really great work, but they were sort of cancerous to the rest of the team. So having the courage to step up and say, this is not really working here, to make sure that everybody on the team is happy, because if they're not, then it's this insidious little bug that goes through the organization. So again, I wish I learned all that earlier so that I could have made more effective change.
So tell us about the skills and attitudes that make a great marketing leader.
Yeah, well, skills are, it's funny because when I interview people at all levels of a marketing team, you kind of check the boxes and you know pretty quickly if they have the actual skill. If you're hiring a digital marketer, you need HubSpot. Do they know HubSpot? You can kind of get that skill stuff fairly out of the way. So I really hone in on those and make sure that you have those. Those are the foundation, right? But the soft skills, which is a lot of what we teach at NSLS specifically, but that you need everywhere in the world is, resourcefulness. If something's not working or I don't have what I need, how do I get it? A collaborative spirit that really makes sure that you're connecting that, because marketing only works well when everybody's connecting. I do this to my team all the time. They're going to laugh at me when they see this, because I'm always going like, everybody does their own individual role, but we have to go like this all the time and making sure that everybody's connecting. So that comes from a collaborative spirit. That doesn't come from I'm going to sit on my own island and just do my own stuff, right? And then the other part that I really feel is so important is, hire the very best people that you can, and then let them do their thing. Let them do what they do, and let them be super proud of that. You don't micromanage, you don't hover over them. I always have the story with everybody on my team that I'm here for you all the time. If you need something, I'll order a pizza. Now it's going to be a Zoom pizza, but I'll order a pizza and sit with you all night and we will figure it out. But if you don't tell me and I don't know you need the help, then I'm just going to trust that you know what you're doing and off you go. So that's what I look for mostly in a marketing team.
Hiring the best people, it reminds me of a book, Good to Great. And I'll sum up that book in a sentence. It is about getting the right people on the bus and the right people in the right seats. And I think that really sums up, hiring the right people, hiring the best people for your unique situation and your organization and your initiatives. A great book, Good to Great by Jim Collins.
Yeah, that is a good book. We actually employ a lot of that. We say the same thing, like, do we have the right people in the right seats? We use that phrase a lot on our team, and making sure, that we have A players everywhere, right? We want people that really love what they do and they want to be in that chair, and we want to make sure that we have the right people in them. Yeah, absolutely.
What was it about the society that made you want to lead marketing for this organization?
Yeah, it's a purpose-driven organization. It's a mission-driven company. We really want to help people be the very best that they can be. And we live that and breathe that every day, and it's not just a word. It's something that Gary, the founder, really, really believes in. And everybody on the team also believes in. So every day knowing that we're making a difference in someone's lives. We hear a story of somebody who joined our organization and then got a job outside and used what they learned to get a promotion rather quickly. And they came back to us and said, it's because of what I learned at the NSLS that I was able to do that, or confident to do that. So hearing those stories every day just warms your heart and really makes you feel great about what you're doing. We're also in a growth phase. So it's really exciting to be part of a team that's growing, for a business that's growing. So having been brought in to help develop leaders in this organization to help us scale up is an incredible opportunity.
So a lot of people think that being a leader is having all the answers. What's your take on this?
No, I don't think so at all. I think having the ability to get the answers among the team is what we need, right? So it's having a hypothesis, testing it, being open to being proven wrong. I'm a huge why person. Start with Why, Simon Sinek. That's another great book. But I've always been a why person. I can't start anything without knowing why we're doing it in the first place. So I want to make sure that I'm telling my entire team, why we've decided to go down this path, and then how can we do it. So not being afraid to say, I don't know, but let me find out. And that's what it's all about. You're not supposed to have all the answers, but you're supposed to have that resourcefulness I mentioned earlier to make sure that you can figure out how to get the answers and hire the right people. So if I don't have the answers, someone else should.
This show is all about marketing leaders helping other marketing leaders. What's the number one thing you want marketing leaders listening to this episode to walk away with?
There are a couple of things here, but it's part of I'll give you one. Trust your gut. You're there for a reason. You employ your experience, your education, your knowledge, and your gut, and combine all that together to make the right decisions, and trust that and follow that. The other thing is it's okay to fail. It really is. And especially in this world where, I started out in publishing and we had to have the magazine done 2 months in advance. And if you made a mistake, it's in paper and print forever, and the world isn't like that anymore. It's very iterative. It's very, you post something and that didn't work, take it right down. You do A/B testing all over the place. So fail, do some tests, see what's working well, see what's not. And don't think of failure as something really bad. It's a learning opportunity. So if you have that in your head, that, okay, what did I learn from this thing that didn't work? That's hugely powerful. And usually you learn a lot more from something that didn't go well than something that did.
Before we wrap up, I want to thank you for being on the show. Really appreciate you sharing your insights with other marketing leaders. If somebody wants to contact you or learn more, where can they find you?
Thanks so much for having me today, Jerry. It was an absolute pleasure. You can find me on LinkedIn. Kuiken is spelled Kuiken. Means little baby chicken in Dutch is a little fun fact. And you can also find me at NSLS.org.
Thanks so much for checking out Navigating the Noise podcast. Subscribe today by clicking the subscribe button or visit navigatingthenoise.com to subscribe via email. On our website, you can access the show notes, resources, and links from today's episode to help you take action on what was discussed. Also, you can ask Jerry questions that he may reply to on the show. Plus, if you're a leader in your marketing department and would like to be a guest, you can contact us through the site. It's really easy. Just visit navigatingthenoise.com to subscribe, watch episodes, ask Jerry anything, or to be a guest. Until next time, stay safe, navigate wisely.